Okay. What are we looking at? It's not great. Okay. We'll have to make do with what we've got then. Alright. Let's beg and pray that my controller doesn't randomly die. What am I gonna get? Another 30 seconds out of charging it in the very small amount of time we have? It's no point. Okay. Cool. Saudi Arabia. Let this little stream fill up a little bit. 3 people, 1 comment. Hello Helix, how are you, mate? I am lovely. How are you, Sponge Star? On this lovely Friday night. It is good to be here for another Formula 2 race. Here for Saudi Arabia. Now, there is a risk my controller just randomly dies because I forgot to charge it. So that's my bad. It's fine. We can charge it, you'll just hear a vibration in the background. So, whoops. But we'll have to make do. Very excited for the race. Fair enough, good sir. Fair enough. I'm camping using all my data. I don't know if you should be doing that, Wizzy. But you do you, I guess. You do you. Okay. Constella, hello lad. Hello, hello, hello. Now, my voice may seem similar, maybe. I'm very dedicated on this one race. Very interesting. Now, to all of you who watched Formula 1 last weekend, I was commentating it because Ryan and TJ couldn't make it. That will not be this weekend, so don't get any ideas. You have me for Formula 2 this weekend, so enjoy it while you have. So, let's get into introductions. Let's get into the nitty and gritty. My name is Jamie Perry. You can call me Helix, as all of you lovely people already have. I am your main commentator for Formula 2, and it is time for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix here tonight on a lovely Friday. For a lot of you it's Friday afternoon, for some of you it's Friday morning, and for me it is Saturday morning. 2:30 in the morning to be exact. So, yeah. Good to be here. Very excited, very happy. I mean, yeah, there isn't really too much to talk about at this second, I guess, so. Bro, if my teammate wins, he is the first driver in drivers. But if he is second, I'm still first. How does that make any sense? Because you have won both races in F2. And if your teammate wins one race, then mathematically that makes no sense. 2:30 in the morning, some dedication. This is a good schedule. Sponge Star, this is a good schedule. 2:30 in the morning is me getting off easy. It used to be 3:30. He got a podium on both other. Oh, fair enough. Okay, let's go through some of the drivers and some predictions here today. My race winning prediction. Hal FR will win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. I've never actually seen him race, and I've never seen him drive a car. But from what I've been told on Discord, he is rapid. He is a very quick boy. So, he's gonna obviously be up there. I'm thinking Lux didn't do too bad. He has some decent pace. Nano hasn't been able to show what type of pace he's had, so I don't think he'll be on the podium this weekend. Who else? Kia's not too bad when he can get it all up and running and have the right set up and everything's just going as planned. Azza, kinda on a thin wire at the moment, if I'm not wrong. But we'll have to see. We'll see what he's like in the race. Kookaburra, he took pole in Bahrain. He looked promising, but it all fell apart in the race, and unfortunately he just didn't pick up the win that was taken by Mr. WizzyBoy in the chat, who started dead last. So very, very nice win for WizzyBoy. And then obviously you have Mr. Jenga Boy, who isn't driving. He is your spectator and your owner and F1 driver for Alfa Romeo. And then you have me, former reserve driver for about 2 races, and now commentator for F2 and sometimes F1, I guess. And main commentator for Gran Turismo, but I swear to God that league has been buried into nothingness. We've tried promoting out like that thing out of the grave and nothing is working. Anyway, but yeah, hopefully we all having a lovely Friday night, Friday morning, Friday afternoon, wherever we live. It has to be at least Friday, otherwise timeline is very weird at the moment. Obviously I've made some predictions, I've introduced myself. The only remaining thing to do is to get actually in to the race itself. We've got 17 drivers currently here. We're waiting on potentially 3 more, and then from there, I mean, yeah, goes from there, I guess. But yeah, hopefully all of us are good. Hopefully we are all ready and happy for another lovely race weekend here for House of Racing, here for Formula 2, here for F2, however you want to say it. We are here. We are good to go. We are live. Constella, I lied to you on Discord because it is me. I'm the same guy who did the F1 stream. I'm still that guy. You knew it? Well, I think I knew it all along, seeing that I'm the guy that made the joke. Good commentator you are. Well, I mean, we'll see how we are tonight, this weekend, this Grand Prix, however you want to say it. The test went well. Well, that's all I can say. The test went well. The commentary did not stop it. We'll wipe it off as a joke, and we'll keep moving forward. Anyway, exciting weekend upon us, Saudi Arabia. It was an exciting Grand Prix last time I commentated F1 and F2, so it's going to be very interesting how it is for F2 this time round, for the second time. I think there was a safety car. I don't know if there was multiple or if there was only one, but there was more controversy on the last lap. There was a bit of like a 1-lap shootout. It was very entertaining, lots of stuff for me to commentate specifically, so it was good fun. And then obviously I did Formula 1 Saudi Arabia last season, and I got to commentate with Ryan and see Jordan become the Season 1 World Champion. So it was very entertaining. And at that point, Alfie was already Season 1 Formula 2 champion. So, bit of history for you, for House of Racing. Bit of historic events as we approach the deadline to begin the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Because right now we are 6 minutes behind. Right, so if I'm correct, we should have one more driver. One more. One eye open when I am sleeping. And then we are good to go. Predictions were made. estimates were set. Nerves are starting to build. One more driver is all they need, and all those green ticked boxes will start going off. And I think the green light has been given. And it might be time to go. You can feel their heartbeats continuing to increase, continuing to sweat and continuing to grow in nerves. This is it. No more second chances, no more times to practice with their AI, no more times for practice quali. We head into the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix for the final time. This weekend, it's time for qualifying here in Saudi Arabia. Let's get into it. Exciting times indeed, exciting times indeed. So, loading complete. This is my time to get everything on the screen that I need on the screen, when it actually gives me the opportunity to do so. There we go. Right, let's get it all up and running. Alrighty. Now, we wait for a driver to leave, just like any other time when we commentate. So, who will come out? And I do want one thing I do want to apologize is I'm sorry, Jenga Boy. So I'm not gonna play that Saudi Arabian song because it is copyright. So I'm just being very wary here. So just a little disclaimer why there was no Saudi Arabian intro when I first started the stream. I was just like, I want to do it, but I'm also not trying to get this blocked in some countries, so. We got a lull, no worries. Anyway, the first driver to finally come out of the pit lane is the Ferrari of Constella. 0 lap old compounds, freshly cooked up to a nice temperature for them to come out of the pit lane with. The Ferrari to be followed behind with Howe in the Haas, and I think that is Undertaker in the Alfa Romeo. And now the entire grid starts to come out of the pit lane now, as they all start to set their first fast lap of the session here for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, to set their final places for the grid here tonight. We have OX on a set of intermediates. We've seen this in multiple different leagues, in different league races. It's a tactic that people use normally to just get an idea of the track, to practice it out before eventually just getting settled on some soft compounds. It's a very normal thing to do. So, we go back up to the top of the timing sheet, at least that's what it will say for now. We see ART Lux and the Red Bull currently going through the second sector of the track. Not too bad, nice and smooth for him, doesn't go too wide on any of the corners or any of the curbs, and nice and easy for him so far. So now let's go over to Constella, who was the first man to come out of the pit lane, and is the first man currently to go over the timing line. Has a little lift, swerves left and right for a little bit, goes into the final corner, and now, pedal to the metal, full acceleration. It is time for the Ferrari's lap. So, they go over the timing light to begin. Yellow flag already, but I'm guessing that's to let a driver by. Constella into the first corner, keeps it clean. Third gear, second gear, tries to gain momentum going into the next bit of the chicane. Gains as much speed as they possibly can into the next corner, trying to go over that apex, just trying to gain as much grip, but unfortunately can't keep it there. Unstable with the rear and invalidates the lap. So let's go down over to the Alpine of Shrubby, who has now activated DRS going into the first corner. Yellow flag at sector 3. One corner, second corner, keeping it clean, doesn't go over any track limits. The Alpine already looking clean compared to that Ferrari. Over the apex, it doesn't get out of shape compared to Constella. So now Alpine's already doing better, hasn't invalidated. Alfa Romeo just seeming to get out of the way there, but looked much worse than what it actually was. The Alpine now going into the straight. This is where DRS used to be, but not anymore. Purple in the first sector, so the Alpine looking good so far. We'll have to see if someone will beat that first sector at the moment, but for now, that is the purple first sector. So then into the second sector, trying to keep it on the limit as much as possible, not trying to go over it though, because then it invalidates and it's all over, and all that hard work and progress you made getting that lap time falls apart, and you'll just have to fall back into the pit lane for a fresh pair of soft compounds. And we already have the first timing on the board with a 129.005. So to follow not that far off is Jono with a 129.088. So very close competition here at the moment between the top two. The Alpine's going to make it around the final corner, keeps it clean, doesn't get out of shape. DRS Active crosses the line and goes P3 with a 130.055. So not that well compared to the first two. We'll have to see what other people can do, with Kia getting a 133.040. We're going to have to see if there was some type of mistake maybe on that lap at some point, and it seems there were more than a couple people making potential mistakes. Gabby with a 130.440, so now all of the laps starting to stack up on top of each other. So Nano in the third sector, coming around the final corner. DRS will now be active, 7th gear, but no, doesn't decide to finish the lap. It seemed to be over 2 minutes. Now into the pit lane, 60 kilometers per hour. So that is all over for that Williams. But for one Williams, it seems he's going again. 1 lap old tyres, so probably invalidated the first time round. Sponged, I'm guessing this time round, would probably be playing it more safe more than anything else. Ozza Swazza is already out of the session, I'm guessing down to probably leaving or disqualifying himself. But someone I really want to talk about is Smoke Wisp, because he has just gone purple in the second sector, looking very nice at the moment. Getting very close to those walls as well, really starting to push the limits here at the walls of Saudi Arabia. Into the final corner, is he going to try and touch that apex? Oh, definitely, nearly clicking that wall there, but doesn't. DRS Active, slipstream to no driver, crosses the timing line and goes P7, so the second sector with the purple does not add up to anything, and it's only P7 for the McLaren at the moment. Let's go over down to Nano, who's now come into the pits, obviously, as before. Chesney hasn't set a lap, also into the pits. What about Spongestar? Hasn't invalidated this time round, goes into the final corner, tries to avoid hitting the wall, does a good job. Decent exit, doesn't get any squirrely on the rear of the tyres. DRS Active goes over the timing line and only gets P8, so not too bad from the Williams. Picks up a decent midfield result so far on his second run. Obviously those tyres are not the best for 1 lap. Obviously had to go again and maybe conserve on fuel as well, but he's done well there. P8, not too bad. We go over to Lewis, who hasn't been able to set a lap yet on fresh compounds, on and out lap at the moment. That is also followed by the Williams of Nano, and Chesney, who is still in the pits but has also not set a lap so far. I think Howe is on and out lap on fresh tyres. Jono has come into the pits but has switched to fresh tyres as well. So it's interesting. Already people deciding that they want to start a new fast lap immediately compared to later on in the session when there's less time remaining. It's a very interesting strategy, cool for some of the drivers. Anyway, Nano on and out lap, 0 lap, old tyres. Comes around the corner nice and smooth for the Williams. Keeps it clean, doesn't invalidate. Even if it's an out lap, you can still invalidate. DRS Active, increase in downforce. Also an increase in top speed, because it almost punches a hole through air. Ida picking up a 5-place grid penalty after a collision with, I didn't think I'd get to see who that was, but had a collision with the driver and now has a 5 grid place penalty, so unlucky, unfortunately, for I don't know how that worked. Azza is now out of the session. That hasn't gone well for him. Nano now crosses the timing line to begin. Let's move up, because we've seen a lot of Nano's outlap. who we haven't seen a lot of is your current provisional pole sitter, Hal, who is currently on a 129.005, but from what rumours have said, he has a lot more pace than that, so it's going to be interesting on his second fast lap. Can he bring a bit more pace out of that Haas here in Saudi Arabia, around the street and around the tight walls here in the Middle East? Currently hasn't invalidated, getting very close but very clean. The Haas is currently going faster with purple in the first sector, 1/10 quicker than his previous lap, so he is improving by a margin. I'd say it isn't huge, but it isn't short either. The Haas is improving into the next couple of corners, not being too out of shape on the rear there, so doing a decent job, and cars getting out of the way there for the Haas. Not too bad. How now with DRS punching a hole through the air, keeps it clean, doesn't go over. A lot of drivers can swivel, lose the rear and go straight over those curbs, but the Haas keeps it clean this time round. The Alpine obviously moving out of the way, the Haas wanting to stick right up to the wall, right up into it, can't stick up to the wall anymore, doesn't lock the rears, keeps it clean, doesn't touch the apex, doesn't need to though. DRS active around the final corner. Thought he was going into the pit lane, he's just getting very close to the line, and this time round it's a 128.8, and what a lap that is from the Haas driver. Wow, very, very nice lap from Hal, and definitely starts to set more of a margin for other drivers to look towards. Jono, obviously in the Mercedes, on what seems to be a fast lap, and he is on a, it's interesting because he isn't on an out lap, he's on fresh tires, but he's lifting, he's not pushing, so very interesting from the Mercedes. Maybe some type of damage of some sort, we'll have to see later on. Anyway, let's go over to ART Lux, currently on 0 lap tires, isn't on an out lap. That also means one thing: he's on a fast lap, and it means he's pushing to improve on his current time. DRS will now be active for the Red Bull driver as he comes through the second sector of Saudi Arabia into the braking zone, doesn't mess it up at all, and also goes purple in the second sector, so the Red Bull starting to show a bit of pace for himself. DRS once again open for the third sector as he starts to close up this lap, starts to widen out, go to the more outside line, which then goes into the inside as he tries to grap around. Grap? I've never heard of grap before. Wrap around the apex. Eventually crosses the timing line, stays P5, but it seems to be an improvement on his current time, so not too bad for ART Lux, who is still in P3, but P3 is a decent result for the Red Bull driver. Shrubby, who is currently in P5, the Alpine driver, also on a fast lap, getting very close to the walls, and they seem to be showing a bit of pace here. It looks fast, it feels fast. What is the Alpine showing here at Saudi Arabia? Because it looks like he's on an absolute flyer of a lap so far. Into the next couple of corners, Sector 2 would be finishing up very soon now. Is the Alpine going quicker? Because it feels quick. And yes, it does feel quick. He goes purple in the second sector. So is the Alpine on an absolute flyer at the moment. DRS active again as we go into the third sector now. Getting nice and close to the walls as other drivers have been doing in their laps as well. Into the outside line. Wrapping around the apex as we've said multiple times now. Decent exit. Doesn't mess up the rear tires. Doesn't get out of shape. He'll go over the timing line. What does Shrubby do? It's a 129.6 and that boosts him up to P4. So a solid little place to put the Alpine there for Shrubby. Not too bad indeed. Yellow flag in Sector 2, a decent couple of drivers there. Let's go to Smoke Wisp, who is in the McLaren, going around that hairpin. A very small elevation change, but there is an elevation change, so you need to be wary of where you actually place your car on that side of that road. Keeps it clean, nearly invalidates from what I'm seeing, but the McLaren keeps it clean. Smoke Wisp will now be able to activate DRS, so not too bad from McLaren. Hasn't invalidated, kept it clean. Will it be purple? No, it won't be, but I'll tell you what, the McLaren is at least going to set a good lap here, a decent lap. Smoke Wisp, DRS active, comes around to see the final corner, locks up the rears a little but keeps it overall clean. DRS eventually will be active to see the timing line, green flag, down that straight. What will it be? It will still be P8, but a 9/10 improvement, nearly a 1 second improvement, and it isn't. Indeed, he's actually moved up to P6, and the telemetry is just a little slow to show that. How seems to be on another fast lap for the Haas, unless I'm blind. Yeah, it seems he's pushing. DRS will be active. What can Hao do here? Yellow flag, sector 3. What is the Haas gonna set on this lap here? And it seems it's a 1/10 improvement, so not too bad for the Haas driver. We go over to Lewis, 0 lap, old tyres, going quite slow though. I think this is the final corner, and it seems he's trying to get some type of grip advantage, which it seems he's now starting his fast lap now. DRS will be active, so we'll come back to Lewis later on. Let's go over to Ida, who's going to have a 5-place grid penalty for the race because of contact earlier on. That's unlucky for the teammate to Hao, who is currently on provisional pole with a 128.8. So the Haas has a lot to deal with in this current situation, who is currently on P15, and if they stay where they are, will start P20. Around the final corner, not great, kind of out of shape, going into the pit lane potentially, and yeah, the Haas not even going to finish their current lap they're on, thinking there's no point, no improvement will be made, and that is still P15 for the Haas driver, and not a lot of time remaining to switch tyres and get back out there. Nano is also on a fresh pair of softs, going into the final corner. What can the Williams do on this run? Tries to keep it mainly clean, DRS active, over the timing line, goes, and it doesn't seem he improves. Sorry, the telemetry once again is a bit delayed on here. We'll have to see if this is his lap now. The telemetry is a bit funky on this game, so we'll have to see if that was the case. Hao does improve by another 0.4 of a second, so not too bad for the Haas driver, who is continuing to gap out that provisional pole even more, and it's looking even better for the Haas driver. Let's go to Lux, who is now starting his final run, it seems, if I'm not wrong from what the time is currently saying, with 2 minutes 40, gets very squiggly on that rear tyre, but has a bit more control now going into the next corner, goes over the apex, trying to keep it clean, still is pushing, but that racing line is not looking too good for the Red Bull driver, has lifted quite a lot now, and he's definitely doesn't seem like he's pushing anymore from what the telemetry is saying, and that is definitely going to be lap over for the Red Bull, so unlucky for ART Lux. He might be able to make it over the line just before anything else is said, so we'll have to see what he does there. Lewis in the pits. It doesn't seem like he'll have enough time to actually come out and set another lap, if I'm not wrong. I could be wrong, but he still isn't coming out. There's a Mercedes coming out, but still not really sure if there's enough time with a minute 51 on the clock. Undertaker goes right over the curbs there and does invalidate with absolute ease. Chesney, on the other hand, in the Ferrari, currently in the second sector. DRS will now be activated. This is normally the fastest part of Jeddah, this little swervy left and right area. Eventually into the break point, over one curb, over the other, doesn't go wide, doesn't mess up any of the floor. DRS active again, really close to the walls now, really starting to push it. What can the Ferrari do with a 1 minute 15 seconds on the clock at the moment? Into the final corner, keeps it nice and tight to the apex. Eventually it's pedal to the metal, full acceleration, full power up to the timing line. What does he do? It's a 129.3, and that is P4 for the Ferrari. Not too bad indeed for Chesney. Wow, what a lap. And you know what, there is still time for the Ferrari to set another lap, so we'll have to come back to that Ferrari to see if he actually does go again. Jono is on a fast lap, not on an out lap from what it's saying at least. Into the next couple of corners, doesn't invalidate, keeping it clean. Can Jono, who has been on a 129.088 for a while now, can he finally move out of that and potentially sneak a little provisional pole? I'll tell you what, he's going purple in the second sector. Oh, and no! The Mercedes, who was going quicker, has a spin, and unfortunately that might be game over for the Mercedes with only 16 seconds left on the clock. Chesney currently going through sector 2, 0 lap old tyres, so maybe this will be his time to shine. The Ferrari starting to finish up the second sector now, closing it all up. Does he go purple? No, he doesn't. Can he do in the next couple of corners? Doesn't spin like Jono did. Unfortunately, Jono will not be able to improve with that little time remaining. Howe is currently on provisional pole. There's Jono going over the checkered flag. Shrubby to follow in P5. Chesney comes around the final corner of the apex. Yellow flag, sector 3. That seems to be the Red Bull. DRS active. Ito retires. Ferrari comes into the pit lane. Kookaburra P6 but retired. P7 Smoke Wisp. Is he pushing? It seems he is. And it seems he's on fresh tyres as well. Can the McLaren excerpt any more power, any more push from this current lap? Lewis down in P20, 0 lap old soft compounds, saying that he can't believe that. Locks up the rears, goes the McLaren. Can Smoke Wisp, who is currently in P7, improve any more? Lewis says it was an easy P2. Sorry, I wasn't focusing on that lap anymore. Smoke Wisp with P7, I don't think he's improved anymore, but that is a 1:30.075 for the McLaren. What about Black Charizard? He's been a bit of a shadow, but unfortunately he did invalidate. From what the telemetry was saying, it looked like he was the only last remaining hope on something that could have happened, and unfortunately Lewis seemed to have invalidated, which is unfortunate, but it does happen. So it was an easy P2, says Lewis in the Twitch chat, but that is qualifying over, and your man on pole is How FR. Congrats to him with a 1:28.4, so what a lap, first of all. 6/10 around that quicker than the Mercedes of Jono, so an incredible lap to set around Saudi Arabia. And now, depending on how many soft compounds we use, could depend on how the strategy will be formed here, but either way, Howe is set on pole for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix here in F2, here in House of Racing. ART Lux P3, Chesney P4, and the top 5 at the moment is Shrubby. The rest can be covered in the formation lap later on. So yeah, everyone just trying to finalize their laps. Fly Undertaker going there. I think that's Lewis now into the pits, the final man we were waiting for. So once he's been put into his pit box, it will be time for the race. Unlucky for Lewis, who said he was on a potential P2 run, but it meant nothing, and he will start in the double digits. P20, P20. So there you go, Formula 1 Saudi Arabian Grand Prix short qualifying has now finished up. Now House of Racing has the final grid order to begin here tonight, here for Friday morning, afternoon, night, wherever you live. It's beginning very soon. The drivers have put themselves where they are for the grid here tonight, or this morning, or afternoon. I'm repeating myself now, but it's looking competitive. Jono seems to be on the pace, couldn't improve, but did go purple in the second sector. Unfortunately, just missed out after that late spin in sector 2, which just saw him not being able to improve, but looked good. I think there was a lot of threats for Howell to be overtaken and for him to drop down, but all of them led to nothing, and Howell still stays well and truly on top with a 1:28.4. So with this little break, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't hear anything, I'm just getting a glass of water. I'm going to be real quick, but I need a drink because my throat is slowly dying. I'll be back. Okay, I am back, just in time it seems, for the formation lap here for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Let's get some stuff up and running. Sorry I couldn't do it earlier. Okay, so let me have my little sip while the formation lap is occurring, because then it is all ready to go. Pedal to the metal, lights go out, and then it's up to the drivers to see where they finish. Right. Right, let's get into it. So, currently, on P1, on pole position, is the Haas driver of Hal. He did a great job. 128.4, destroyed any expectation that he wasn't going to be on pole, and starts P1 on the medium compound. On the hard compound to follow in P2 is Jono, in P3 in the Red Bull ART Lux on mediums. Also to follow on mediums in P4 the Ferrari of Chesney, P5 the Alpine of Shrubby, P6 on soft compounds, so starting off with a very fast first stint is Kookaburra. P7 in the McLaren is Smoke Wisp. P8 Sponge Star of Williams. I have said that wrong, but you know what, we're gonna run with it anyway. Gabby in the Alpine. P9 P10 the Aston Martin of OXL4. P11 Zlippy in the Alfa Romeo. P12 Black Charizard in the Mercedes. P13 Constella R6, but we'll just say Constella to keep it easy. Kia in the McLaren. P15 the AlphaTauri of Azza. P16 Nano. P17 the Alfa Romeo of Undertaker. P18 the Aston Martin of Ozaswaza. P19 the AlphaTauri of Lewis. And to finish off the grid, because of a 5-place grid penalty, Ida on the hard compounds in P20, and also invalidates just for a good measure. So all of them get their final little warm-ups in, their final little time, pardon me, just taking a drink, their final time to get some final warm-ups in, and some of them even doing some donuts for that extra bit of heat, because eventually you all have to stand still on the grid. Everything starts to go cold. Eventually, it goes to the 20 drivers lined up. So, knowing what I know best, with the drivers finally starting to line up in their pit boxes, in their lineup boxes. Green flag runs. No lights being shown. We're just gonna say 5 red lights. Wait for some type of revving to show. The lights go out, and it's pedal to the metal for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix here for season 2. Down the inside, tries to go the Red Bull. The Haas gets a good getaway, stays in P1. Yellow flag immediately, and there seems to be Shrubby in the wall. The Alpine already down to P16, P18, already getting out of shape. An absolute chaos and crowd of drivers already starting to circle up against each other. And now everything starts to be clearing up. Everyone's starting to go into a bit more of a formation, and there seems to be a bit of damage, and there's Lippy in the Alfa Romeo already hitting the barrier and getting into a spin, and his teammate Undertaker to follow him not too far behind down into P19, and Lewis in P20, who actually is very thankful to be down in P20 now, being cautious, being aware, and luckily stays away from most of the damage and chaos that unfolds. Azza in P12 now, doesn't really have to fight anyone at the moment. Is he gaining at the moment? It seems 3/10 a lap on the Aston Martin of Ozaswaza. Not too bad from the AlphaTauri. P10 is the Mercedes of Black Charizard, gaining on Nano at the moment, who is in P9. His first points in F2 could be imminent, but the Mercedes is getting very close to the Williams now. Down the inside, at least the inside line, wheel to wheel at the moment. What can they do into the first corner to finish up lap 1 here? Absolute chaos at the moment. Hal not doing too bad though, keeps his position with a 1:47.4 to finish the first lap and get fastest lap. P10 slipstream. ERS using for the Mercedes. Around the outside they consider. Will be a switchback? No, it won't be, but they're going to follow it through. A bit of contact being made between the two drivers. Nothing's done though. Let's go down. We're seeing a bit of movement down here. The McLaren of Smokeworth seems to be making up a position, but there's Shrubby and Kia both coming into the pit lane. Unfortunate for them. There you can see how the Haas driver who started on pole and gets away still in P1, purple in the first sector, and it seems to be a very mature and clean getaway for the Haas driver without any issues at all. ART Lux to follow behind, making up a position, and Jono falling down to P3, so the top three not really too affected at the moment. Slippy P15 seems to be having a spin and losing the front wing, now looking a bit more like a dart or a bullet than an F1 car. So unlucky for the Alfa Romeo, with Smokeworth seeming to be able to make a position because of it. So chaos already unfolding here in Saudi Arabia, but did we expect anything less here at Formula 2? I didn't think so, you didn't think so, so it's all just a part of the fun games here around House of Racing. If P13 is Ida, so not too bad for the Haas driver who started P20. There's an Alfa Romeo who's caused the yellow flag. I think that's Undertaker who's hit the wall, or at least has had a spin. Howe once again improves with a 132.3, so really starting to show a bit of pace and showing why he is currently in P1. ART Lux not too far behind with the 2.9 second gap, but that's already increasing to a 3.2 second gap, and the Haas is already starting to pull away from the rest of the field at the moment. There's the Williams of SpongeStar getting closer to Gabby, but no fight currently taking place. Behind him 6/10 would be Constella in the Ferrari, hitting the wall and getting a bit out of shape there. Potential damage now for the Ferrari. Unlucky for Constella, currently running in the points in P8, so not too bad for Constella. What about his teammate Chesney, who's in P5, 5/10 off the Red Bull of Kookaburra, who was your pole sitter in Bahrain, so not too bad. A bit of movement down in the real low midfield there, pretty much the back markers. And there's the AlphaTauri Lewis, who seems to be making some positions up now, P20 to P17, so 3 positions at the moment. Not too bad for the AlphaTauri as everything starts to sort themselves out. The grid starts to put themselves in a certain position. Howe really enjoying himself up in the front. 3.7 seconds down, but with a nice DRS slipstream. The Mercedes is gaining on the Red Bull, who is currently in P3. Jono is going to get DRS down this main straight, who we know we've seen so many overtakes in the past, and now potentially today the Mercedes looks to go around the outside, follows the outside line. It's going to be wheel to wheel, but he's going to sneak a nose ahead of the Red Bull, squeezes him off, doesn't have to worry about any more wheel to wheel action because Jono makes the move stick. What a move from the Mercedes. Can the Red Bull potentially follow that up though? He's gonna stay close, but maybe not close enough to make a move in the next couple of corners. We'll have to see longer term when we get back to the DRS zones later on in Sector 2 and Sector 3. Chesney, P4 currently, that also kind of close to the Red Bull and Mercedes, so it's still very close between the top 4. Kookaburra down to P6 with a 3-second time penalty, I'm guessing because of track limits, so unlucky for the Red Bull, who seems to be taking an outside line, trying to stick closer to the Alpine of Gabby. Let's continue to move down here, where we can see Constella fighting away with SpongeStar in the Williams, and that, I mean, not fighting away now, but it seems it's going to be fighting away here at this moment, as SpongeStar seems to be making a mistake, can't seem to get the traction they want. Ozaswaza picks up a 3-second time penalty. IRT Kia and Undertaker still in the pits apparently, and maybe not still in, but at least there's been someone in the pits more recently than someone else. The Ferrari of Constella now gets DRS, ERS as well. Can the Ferrari finally make a move stick? Taking the inside line, they're going to go wheel to wheel, but no, the Ferrari backs out. He's smart, he's thinking about the straight, he's thinking about the DRS chicken, and he will get DRS this time round. DRS activated. Williams has no DRS. He's going to get a better slipstream. Ferrari thinking about the inside line. Does he do it? Yes, he does. Down the inside goes the Ferrari of Constella. on Sponge Star, and it's a clean move for the most part. Keeps it where he needs to. Sponge Star hits the wall, but doesn't lose any parts from what we are seeing. Constella just going over the track limits there, but P6 for the Ferrari with Chesney in P5, so the Ferraris getting themselves some decent Constructors points at this current time. Let's move down a little bit, see what's happening in the lower midfield. As you can see, Undertaker, and it also seems IRT Kia and Zlippy are all fighting away here, at least. Actually, no, oh wait, no, I see the issue. I'm seeing Undertaker is currently being blue flagged, and that seems to be the issue I'm currently noticing. So my apologies in advance, ladies and gentlemen, but at least I'm able to identify the problem I had spotted. So let's go to where there is a bit of fighting, at least some potential fighting. Kookaburra, who started, what was it, P5 down to P14 now. The Red Bull not having the race they wanted in the first 5 laps of this race. ART Lux seems to have made a mistake, and it seems to be a spin for the Red Bull. No, unlucky for ART Lux, who now moves down to P8, maybe P9 now, as Nano just seems to sneak by, but it's going to be wheel to wheel. Inside is the Red Bull, outside is the Williams. Nano thinks about a potential switchback, keeps it clean for the most part, thinks about DRS probably, because he now has DRS. Can the Williams make the move on the Red Bull? Outside line once again for the Williams, but it seems he's already going to be ahead of the Red Bull before the corner. Into the brake zone, can completely cover that apex, no issues, and that's Nano up into P8. Lovely move from the Williams. There's Black Charizard, almost a spectator to the fighting happening between the Red Bull and the Williams at the moment, and maybe can potentially sneak in a sneaky move for a double overtake, maybe P10 up to P8. That would be lovely for the Mercedes. It would also be lovely for the Constructors Championship, specifically for drivers as well. So a lot of things on the line there for Black Charizard, a lot of things on the line for a lot of drivers. It's still early days here in the season, still early days for every driver, and still early days for a new result. For example, WizzyBoy is not here tonight, unfortunately couldn't make it, so how seems to have taken that position from him. It seems to be way up in front. The Haas just enjoying himself, cruising for the most part. Lap 6 of 25, and from lap 1 to lap 6, he's really not had to worry about anyone. And he's slowing down. The Haas. Okay, that is very weird. There seemed to have been a random bit of lag, and I'm guessing the stream will pick that up, but we're back to moving again. How is now 6.3 seconds off. I'm still here, LMAO. Hello, WizzyBoy. Good to see you in the Twitch chat, at least. What is happening with the internet, at least with how? There's the Ferrari apparently hitting the wall, so some type of internet issue happening with this current race. We're going to keep commentating. We're going to keep fighting through whatever is happening and whatever is causing random crashes, or at least visual crashes between each driver. Nano down to P9. Black Charizard does get ahead of the Williams eventually, but Ozza Swazza and the Aston Martin in P7 still ahead of a couple of drivers. Yellow flag in sector 2, and I think that's Ida. No, it's the other driver. I think it's the Haas of How. It is How. So maybe it wasn't lag after all. Maybe it was an actual incident. Maybe it was an actual crash, and maybe the lag that I saw was just earlier on. Either way, How is down to P4, and I'm sorry I didn't spot this earlier, but now the Haas is at a big disadvantage here. Jono now takes the lead of the race. When the Mercedes on hard compounds, he can go much longer than most of the other drivers. Chesney on medium compounds, same lap age as Jono in P2, Gabby in P3, and How, who is your race leader, who I said not that long ago was cruising, chilling, might just be relaxing for the entire race, may not be relaxing as much anymore, and WizzyBoy almost laughing, smiling from the Twitch chat, knowing that it won't be How who might be winning this race, and he might be able to keep his race lead, his championship lead, for the moment, for now. Anyway, Jono, 8 tenths ahead of Chesney, and now it seems the front pact is going to be much closer this time round. The Ferrari getting very close to the Mercedes, 7 tenths, 8 tenths, almost switching between different timings. How do you know, LMAO, says WizzyBoy in the Twitch chat. I just know Gabby in P3, only 5/10 down on Chesney, so it's still a very close fight. You got cams on me or something? Potentially. Maybe I do, WizzyBoy. We'll have to wait and see, but that's Undertaker, who's had a spin here. I think that's Sector 2, or at least... No, it's Sector 1, just coming onto the straight before the elevated hairpin. So unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo. Undertaker has now retired. Slippy P18 now goes into last place, almost trading roles with his teammate, who is now DNF'd and has retired from the session. So unlucky for Alfa Romeo, and it's not looking good for Constructors at the moment. Jono out in front, but not by a huge margin. Chesney doesn't have DRS, will definitely have DRS into the next straight though. Corner isn't too bad, the exit's good, pedal to the metal, full acceleration. What can the Ferrari do now? 7/10 at the moment, 6/10 now, 5/10, and time just picks away at itself. Not close enough though. Jono is losing time slot a lot, and yeah, you're right. I think Ida now, P12, fighting away with the Red Bull of Kookaburra. A nice little fight happening between the Haas and the Red Bull at the moment, trying to find Jono, and it just seems that Jono is just losing time, not able to gain pace compared to Howe or other drivers around him. Around the outside, Ito might be thinking he's going to try and stick it there, spins the Red Bull, but no, he brakes, makes sure that the Red Bull stays ahead, and maybe the FIA will maybe leave that alone for now. Kookaburra stays in P11. That clean partnership and sportsmanship from the Haas will see the Red Bull stay in front. It could have been the Haas just drive away, and that's the Alfa Romeo of Slippy, I think, spinning and also being blue flagged as well, so unlucky for the Alfa Romeo. There's Lewis fighting away with ART Lux here, the sister team versus the major team, Red Bull versus Alpha Tauri, P13 and P14. This fight looking very spicy at the moment. And it seems that ART Lux just got a bit out of shape, lost the rear, went into a spin, hit Lewis, but Lewis makes the most of it, and luckily up into P13. Not too bad from the AlphaTauri, not too great from the Red Bull, but we continue to move. Smokewisp with a 3-second time penalty. That McLaren's not going to be happy with that in the slightest. Let's go over to maybe the top area again of the field, where we can see Gabby almost touching the rear of the Ferrari of Chesney. I think that's a 3-second time penalty for Gabby as well, so really unlucky for the Alpine. Lewis defo got damage. Yeah, says WizzyBoy in the Twitch chat. Obviously your championship leader having his own views and opinions in the Twitch chat at the moment, so if you want to hear more of that, come join us on the Twitch stream. And is that Chesney hitting the wall? It's everyone just glitching out apparently, and once again everyone's braking, everyone's going crazy, and wow, okay, it seems we're going stable again. And once again, internet issues for House of Racing as we continue to brake and lose control of everything that is happening around us, but it seems we're back to normal once again. The Alpine of Gabby 4/10 down on Chesney. Chesney 4/10 down on Jono, but Jono just up out in front. He's got that clean air, which is going to be such a benefit compared to every other driver who has to suffer. Even with the improved clean air, it's still dirty air, and people will suffer because of it. Now let's move down a bit where we can see how sorry, Jenga Boy messaging me, seeing if we can sort these internet issues out, but how with DRS almost catching up to the front of the pack here. Yellow flag in Sector 1. I think that's a Red Bull, and I think it is ART Lux out of the session. See if we can maybe get another driver to pick this race up. But no! There's a double collision, and that's between the McLaren and the Aston Martin, and that has gone absolutely haywall, and that is definitely not how the McLaren or Aston Martin wanted that to go, and that is the Red Bull, obviously, of ART Lux out of the session. Is there going to be a safety car? Obviously not. Yellow flag once again in Sector 1. That seems to be a Ferrari. We're already 5 drivers down. That's Black Charizard into the pit lane. Can we maybe see this Ferrari here? I think that's Constella, or is that Chesney? I'm not 100% sure. Or maybe it's the Aston Martin. That Ozza Swazza. No, he's in the pit lane once again. Everyone's randomly stopped. Okay. Alright, this is cool. Okay, alright, cool. Cool. So are we gonna get going again, or like, oh, we're just gonna stop and then, there's a safety car. That's cool. I like this. This is sick. I love just how the cars are randomly stopping and then going again, and then there's a safety car. Anyway, let's get back to commentating. As you can see, safety car has now come out to avert any of the chaos that is happening at the moment. Lewis saying that he likes this, he's enjoying this, and it would make sense, it would be perfect for his strategy as he now drives past the safety car. No words to describe the internet issues that we are currently facing here for Formula 2, but I will power through it because we need a stream, we need a commentator, we need this to be broadcasted, ladies and gentlemen. The show must go on, as it's said so many times. Currently we can see the Williams of the Nano, the Nano, ladies and gentlemen, of Nano, obviously can't get past the Haas of Hal, who seems to have boxed for new hard compounds because of probably safety car, and it seems the top drivers have also come into the pit lane. You can see Jono there with Gabby and Chesney as well, so all of them starting to head into the pit lane, all of them starting to switch for new tyres. And has Edo maybe thought this out a bit more compared to other drivers? No, Edo's coming into the pit lane. Will Hal follow? Hal doesn't, obviously, on those new compounds, and maybe Hal can benefit maybe just a bit more compared to other drivers, but maybe the Delta is just not going to help out at all. So there's Nano, Azza, Kookaburra, Ozza Swazza maybe as well. It seems the whole pack is starting to come into the pit lane now as the safety car starts to drive around the track. So there you go, you see Chesney on those fresh hard compounds now taking the lead. Once again, I have no words to describe the internet issues we are currently facing and how we are going to revert it, or at least divert it away from what we are currently trying to broadcast. But for now, I will just keep doing what I know I can do. It is lap 12 of 25. Chesney now leads the pack from the rest of the field. Safety car out, and I'm guessing it's probably going to be out for maybe 2-3 laps, so we're going to be here for a little bit. So if you have any questions you'd like to say on the Twitch chat, now is your time to do so. Any things you want to talk about. It was Jenga's internet, he was the host. We'll have to talk about Jenga afterwards. Sorry if there was a break, I was just enjoying my glass of water that I don't really ever get to have because I'm too busy enjoying and commentating and talking about all the action that is occurring here tonight here in Saudi Arabia. The Ferrari and Haas almost intercepting each other, getting very close, but eventually they separate and stay in their positions where they're supposed to be in P4 and P5 as in P6. Let's go through the grid here. What's the box next to the player's name? Oh, that's supposed to represent a penalty. Look wonder. SpongeStar says Williams P6 and P7 so far. Yes, very solid. You know what? Let's talk about Nano and SpongeStar for a second. They're having a really good team effort here. P8 for Nano, P9 for SpongeStar, and it's just been a really, really good effort. I can't lie, I want Gabby to win, but if he does, he is P1 in drivers, so it's going to be a very interesting time for WizzyBoy. Does he want Gabby to win? Because he's rooting, he wants it, but at the same time, if Gabby wins, Gabby will take the lead of the driver's standings, which is definitely not what WizzyBoy wants, having this time away from the controller or steering wheel, whatever. Edo is current host, says Jenga Boy. So, Josh, I have one thing I need you to do, because you did it with me back in Formula 2 when I drove around China. You need to go onto Discord and at Edo and tell him, if you retire, do not leave the session. So, let's go through the grid because we've been a little distracted because of internet because of everything that's happened in the past 13 laps. Let's talk about it. So the Ferrari of Chesney in P1, in P2 to follow is Gabby, in P3 the Mercedes of Jono, P4 Constella, P5 Howe, P6 Azad, not doing too bad to make up those positions lost because of the qualifying position he started in. P7 Ido Ida, P8 Nano and his teammate to follow behind SpongeStar. Good result for Williams, as we've said before. P10 to cover off the rest of the points at the moment is the Mercedes of Black Charizard. P11 maybe fighting to get back into the points is the Red Bull of Kookaburra. P12 Ozza Swazza. P13 Smoke Wisp. P14 Lewis. And P15 IRT Kia, who still is starting to catch up with the rest of the safety car field. It's definitely not coming in this lap, so the McLaren has a whole nother lap to catch up to the pack again. The current Twitch chat is saying, I don't know why you would get promoted in a title fight, I can't lie. WizzyBoy says, because Josh wants me in F1. Well, listen, I believe as an F2 commentator, and because nothing is happening at the moment, I'll give my little opinion on this debate happening in the Twitch chat. I believe if you are fast enough for F1, there's no point in keeping you in F2, because you're just going to dominate the entire season, and then it's no fun or fair, and it just gives no opportunities to other drivers to win and also experience that spotlight. There was a lot of drivers before Alfie who could have been champion, but they got moved up to F1. Anyway, Chesney. Let's go back to the actual fight out on hand. The McLaren of IRT Kia seems to be gaining. Did I miss out on something? Because Constella is now P15, so I must have missed out on something, or maybe nothing changed at all and I'm just blind. I'm not 100% sure. I was focused on a little debate happening on the Twitch chat because safety car is boring and this race has been absolute chaos. Speaking of chaos, Chesney's leading. We've already gone through this. Lots of grid changes with P1. Howe, who is your pole sitter, currently in P5, so it's been very unlucky for the Haas. But at the moment, Ido and Howe are making a great Constructors little tally here for Haas F1 team, so that's at least something they can leave happy with. Jenga Boy has left the session, and as he leaves, safety car comes in this lap, so now safety car will start to separate themselves with the rest of the pack. There still seems to be this huge gap between the Hasses, so Ida is starting to move up here, and Jenga Boy has DM'd me, ladies and gentlemen. New lobby. New lobby. I have been DM'd about a new lobby apparently. So we're gonna keep driving. Chesney's gonna go over the timing line. Green flag running. Here we go. Gabby gonna get a decent slipstream on Chesney until everything has been fully told. It is currently... Yep, okay, we've been told to leave the lobby. Everyone has been told to leave the lobby. No more commentary from me. Right now, the race has been red flag. It is a red flag, red flag, red flag, red flag. So, now you get to speak with me personally for a little bit. I'm gonna go back to the Twitch chat. Red flag running, red flag, red flag. Okay, now let's bring a bit more context to this so it makes a bit more sense. Because of incidents, because of collisions, because of internet, we have waved a red flag. Just so there is a bit more context. So, Twitch chat is not happy with it. No, what the I'm kidding, what the fuck, lots of fucks in there. 14 laps, LMAO, okay, yep, alright, everyone signed to freak out about this. Let me see if I can get myself back into a new lobby, and it seems a new lobby has been created, so red flag, first time round. now in a new lobby, just currently DMing Jenga Boy. At the moment it is red flag running. So, it looks like I will be hosting it, ladies and gentlemen, so let's hope everything goes to plan. Let's go back to Twitch chat, see what Twitch chat is saying. Constella says, I got brake checked so many times because of it, I will be pissed if I don't get my positions back. 14 laps. So stupid. Yeah, well, red flag was running. Right, I need to invite Jenga Boy. Now you get to see how inviting works. Here's the tutorial on how to do it. You click a name and it invites them. It's really crazy. I know, no one would expect that to work, but that's how it works. I know, it's nuts. I mean, yeah, I'm just gonna keep repeating red flag for anyone who is currently joining the session. Yeah, red flag running. It's a 25% race. How unlucky. But it also wouldn't make too much sense to continue with a 50% race. Pretty much doing a full reset. Here, let me re-invite Jenga Boy. I'll keep inviting Jenga Boy, see so eventually he'll join. We'll send out 3. Get his attention, I guess. Yeah, so sorry if there isn't a lot of talking at the moment. Sorry if there's a bit more silence. We're just currently in Discord. Currently chatting away here. Anyway, red flag running. So it will be a 25% race around Saudi Arabia. Yeah, it is unfortunate. Okay, so a bit more information about what is happening at the moment. All penalties, so ladies and gentlemen, after incidents and everything, here is what is happening. All penalties will be null and void. Drivers with a qualifying ban will be starting at the back, and DNF'd drivers will be allowed to finish the race. Red flag has changed everything, ladies and gentlemen. So it is a full-on reset. Doesn't matter about qualifying anymore. Doesn't matter about all of it. A red flag running 25% race here for Saudi Arabia. Nano gets a P5 start. P3 start for Gabby. There's a lot of people saying yeses and no's. This is going to be a very interesting 25% race. Now, let's get back to the Twitch chat so I can bring more information. Now, I'm going to continue to invite Josh. It seems that we are just all being informed at the moment of what is going to happen and how it is going to take place. Red flag. Jono has requested to watch. Why has Jono requested to watch me? Why I don't understand it. Anyway. Anyway, I've been told to make a new lobby. I've been told to make a new lobby. Which I can do. Social play. Alrighty. Now you get to watch me, the commentator, do this up, man. Alrighty. Invite sent out. Probably need to change a couple of things. 22, invite only. Doesn't matter, doesn't matter. Play it. There you go. Car performance equal. There you go. Track select. Saudi Arabia. We're doing this all. You get to watch how it works, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, we'll just leave that. We'll leave that. And we'll leave, you know what, we'll leave that too. We'll leave all of that. Okay. Qualifying, none. Session length at 25%. Starting grid, custom. It's in the rules section of Discord. Alright, thank you, Jenga Boy. Okay. Cool. You get to watch me make a lobby. Woohoo. Let's make a lobby. This is how you do it. Yeah, okay. So, here's how it will work then. Obviously, it's a 25% thing. Off, we construction standard. Okay. Now I need to go simulation settings. Alrighty. So, none. Car damage. Standard. Low fuel mode hard. Car damage rate reduced. Race start manual. On and on. Surface carcass, all that stuff. Right. Corner cutting stringency strict. Is that here? I don't think it is. Where is this? This is rules and flags. Okay, strict. Park firme off. Standards, safety car, immersive? Yeah, immersive. Safety car, standard. Safety car experience, immersive, formation lap on. Sorry if this is taking a long time, this is my first time doing this. Give me a moment. Right, assist restrictions. Is it off, high, on, full, automatic, on, no. Pit assist off. Okay. 22, cool. Okay. Now I just need grid positions, and then we can get back to commentating. This has been probably the longest HOR stream that has ever existed. I'm glad I could be a part of history. Yeah, if I can get grid positions, then we are good to go. So settings have been set. Everything's good to go. Sorry, I'm not able to read Twitch chat at this second. What's the starting grid? What happened? Why are we restarting? It's red flag running. Red flag. If you're wondering why there's a red flag, mainly because of incidents and penalties and because of internet. The main thing is internet. Sorry, I can't really speak all the time. I'm trying to DM peeps. I will get back to you all shortly. Red flag running. Anyway, I'm getting grid positions set up, and then it will be good. Bro said, I say peeps all the time, don't question it. Go to Discord, you'll see me. Lewis says invite. We'll get invites done in a second. Oh, I should probably do weather as well. Weather. Just imagine. Nah, it's fine. It's just clear and dry. There you go. Probably night. Probably night. Yeah. Yeah, that's probably how I'd do it. There you go. Okay, I have not been given grid positions yet. Oh, I'm glad I can be a part of the first red flag in House of Racing. I know Jenga Boy is constantly going in between House of Racing and DMing me, so I respect him at the moment. Oh my god, don't tell me I have to make another lobby. Don't say this. Don't say this. Oh my days. WizzyBoy saying he's away in Wales. Hopefully you're having a good holiday, WizzyBoy. Should come down to Australia. It's better. Just L plus ratio, it's better. Okay. Okay, alright. Okay. Right. Okay, cool. Finally I have the grid here. Where would this be again? Probably lobby options. No, not there. There we go. Grid editor. Okay. We'll just do the ones we can do at the moment. I mean, we can't really do it until drivers are in, I guess. Whoopsie daisy, my bad, wrong button. So Jono gets moved up. Is Chesney in here? Chesney's not in here. What about Hal? Hal's not in here. Gabby. Gabby is P4. Too far. There we go, Gabby P4. Nope, Chesney is here. P2. Hal, there's no Hal. Nano, there's no Nano. Yeah, we'll go from there at least, and then we'll just wait for more drivers. Helix, don't worry, I'm resetting everything internet-wise and trying a lobby. No one can join this one. Oh my days. I don't say oh my days, because as an Australian, that's not like a thing that we do. But oh my days. Oh my fucking days, what is this bullshit? Is the best way to put this. This has been the most scuffed and most bullshit thing anyone has had to deal with. I don't mean one or two people, I mean anyone has had to deal with. So we are leaving the session, forgetting about this, and we're starting up another lobby. Red flag is still out, and I just want to say, as commentator, and doing such a lovely job, and thank you EA for ruining my voice for no result at the moment. So I just want to say this. EA, hi. My name's Jamie Perry, but you can call me Helix. I'm the main commentator of Formula 2 here at House of Racing. Right now, there is a red flag running because of your bullshit. And so I just want to say, get your fingers out your ass and actually do something and stop being a bunch of fucking cunts and just sitting around hoping to rot away and die. And stop making $1 million by adding some random store thing. Fix your game, EA. Fix your game. We're making another lobby because your game is shit. I don't like to swear, especially on league racing accounts. I do not like to swear. Specifically on league racing accounts. But this is bullshit. This is so fucking bullshit. We've been in EA is shaking after that one. Helix, calm down. What have I done? I've started anarchy. Oh man. Listen man, you never hear swearing from me, especially during commentary. Nah, I'm muting, man. I'm muting, man. Every time I'm laughing, nah, none of this. None of this, bro. Nah, I can't deal with these violations against me. Oh, man. Nah, but listen. Listen, I need everyone to know in Twitch chat, and anyone who will clip this and save it for later for anyone to see, this was simply done because EA are really fucking shit. I got you, Gabby. I got you, Gabby. And for context, I never swear. Especially commentary and especially for a racing league. But I have to bring it up that this is complete and utter bullshit and hypocrisy because they're too focused on trying to make a bag instead of making a good game. I mean it in the best way possible. Don't say, this guy is still going. Alright. Like, what am I supposed to do? There's a Twitch stream, I'm a commentator, and commentators just know, like, just naturally ramble. Commentators naturally ramble, man. Don't do this to me. I'm being violated in the Twitch chat. I never saw I do swear a lot, but you know, I never swear. No, I mean I never swear like for racing leagues. Like I never swear for like, fuck's sake. It's all falling apart, boys. My career is over. I'm gonna lose me job. It's over. I'm gonna lose me job. Nah, WizzyBoy. Nah, I don't recall that, Wizzy. WizzyBoy, I don't recall that, man. I've been violated. You're all banned from this Twitch chat. I have a higher power. Jenga fire. Oh, you guys are jokes, man. You guys are jokes. Thank you. You're making this not so fucking shit. We are Twitch channel. Okay, we are users. Oh, I sound so fucking stupid, bro. Holy shit. EA has really got to it. You know what's funny? When we start going into this race again and we start and I start commentating, I'm gonna act like none of this happened. It's just gonna go straight back to like commentary again. So you've only got me for a limited time, boys, so enjoy me while you have me. Oh man, you guys are jokes. You guys are jokes. Discord's colder. That is straight violation right now. Discord scolder. Right. Should we go back from start and just pretend like everything didn't exist? Let's do it. Okay. Let's have a drink of water. Hello everyone, my name is Jamie Perry, but you can call me Helix, and I am your Formula 2 main commentator here for tonight. Unfortunately, there was a red flag that happened before, so we have had to reset, and we are currently going to be doing a 25% race. Everything seems to have been going back to plan now, and now everything is, I think, normal now, so 13 laps of racing. I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't. I can't, bro. I'm gonna mute, bro. I'm gonna mute. Right, as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, the timer has begun again, so obviously everyone starts to ready up. Red flag is starting to come to an end. Formation lap, potentially, I'm not 100% sure, but it is starting to end now. Shut up, bro. No. Right. I have had all distractions or turned away from me, and now no one can make me laugh and make me break, and I have gone back to commentator Helix. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know me, my name is Jamie Perry. You can call me Helix. I'm your main commentator for Formula 2. This time, we're doing it properly. There was an incident where the internet was having an issue. There were multiple incidents. We've had a red flag and we are resetting. I can no longer see the comments. So no matter what you say, I cannot laugh. I can't break anymore. Anyway. Maybe we'll never forget it, but it's in the past now. So, here's what we know. The race engineers are doing their T-poses, doing their stretches, getting ready to do their final hopeful go. Here again, a long red flag, a long wait. We had to wait, but finally, it is time to go again. Hopefully for the final time, without any more red flags or internet issues occurring here at the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. Pardon me, here for Season 2, Round 3, and hopefully everything goes well. I realise I have to put this up on YouTube at some point, and I know it's just gonna be the most scuffed crap, and honestly, I'm ready. But enough about that, it's time to get into the racing. Normal Helix is back. Alrighty. Lobby has been updated, waiting for players. Now we start to get everything up and running again. There we go, as you can see, formation lap has now begun. Everything is up to the point where we need it to be. So, as we can see, we see Jono in P1, Chesney P2 in the Ferrari, and P3 in the Haas of Howe. So he was your pole sitter, but unfortunately now sits in P3 on those soft compounds. P4 on mediums is the Alpine of Gabby. P5 the Williams of Nano. P6 Sponge Star. P7 Black Charizard. P8 Ida Ida. P9 and P10 Aston Martin of Ozaswaza, and P10 of McLaren. There's the Alfa Romeo of, I think, Zlippy just flying by some of the field. Lewis P11 in the Alfa Tauri. P12 is the McLaren of IRT Kia. P13 is Constella. P14 ART Lux. P15 the Aston Martin of OX L4. P16 in the Alfa Romeo X Lippy X. P17 Fly in Undertaker. Unfortunately, he has been reset to track like a lot of drivers. P18 Kookaburra. And to finish off the rest of the grid this time round, after red flag conditions, is the Alpha Tauri of Azza. So, all the laughing can finish. All the jokes have now come to an end. Everything now goes back to how it was. Red flag has come to an end. As you can see, there's the green outlined around the track. Formation lap starting to make its way around Sector 3 as it starts to finish off. It starts to revolve around Saudi Arabia, and eventually, hopefully, for the final time for these 13 laps that remain, Chesney will be the first person to fill into their grid box, seeing that Jono has now been pushed all the way to the back. But right now, Chesney warming up those tyres for the final time, hopefully for the final time, in his grid slot. Hopefully everything goes to plan this time around. No more red flags. Hopefully no safety cars. Hopefully everything is smooth sailing this time around. And hopefully I actually have 5 lights that appear just up there where I can actually say 5 red lights. And away we go. So, with all the drivers starting to line up on the grid, five red lights. lights go out, and it's pedal to the metal for the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix for the second time running. Chesney goes into the first corner ahead of Jono, but Jono is going to try and fight it out, wheel to the wheel, banging side pods, but it seems the Ferrari of Chesney just sneaks ahead, so really good job from the Ferrari there on those soft compounds, managing to stick ahead of the Mercedes. Really good job. Let's go down to the midfield where we can see the AlphaTauri fighting away with Gabby and Star of Alpine and Williams, and there you can see slipstream of ERS now activated for Lewis. Maybe some type of move going into the elevation change here at the hairpin. It's a down the inside for Lewis, up into P6 for the moment, but maybe an outside move can be done for Gabby later on as we continue to fight away here for lap 1 on the red flag reset. Right now, Lewis has got a really nice position up into P6. Obviously, everyone who has been disqualified or DNF'd came back, but as you can see, 4 people seem to already be out, or at least disqualified for some type of reason. Anyway, currently in P4, SpongeStar fighting away with 3 other drivers of Hal and Lewis, and it seems to be boiling up at the moment. And you can see from AlphaTauri's perspective of Lewis that absolute carnage is unfolding. Is that a safety car? Or at least it's a virtual safety car. I think it is a virtual safety car. And it seems the AlphaTauri of Flying Undertaker has had some type of spin or crash that's left debris on track. So unfortunate for the Alfa Romeo. And now yellow flags have come out for a VSC. So how long will this VSC last, and how long will it take for drivers to catch up back to one another? So Hal, who was your pole sitter the first time round before the red flag came out, currently in P4. Nano for Williams in P3 on some very nice soft compounds. And this is definitely the restart that the Williams want. And oh, I say that obviously with green flag running, overtakes are allowed, and it seems commentator's curse had come into full effect. The Haas hitting the Williams, and now down to P13 goes Nano. Really unfortunate for the Williams driver there, really unlucky, and that sees Nano all the way down to P13. Jono once again in P1 with Chesney in P2. Chesney had the lead, but obviously Jono was able to get a better jump, it seems, and now the Mercedes once again leads the Grand Prix after the red flag reset. Yellow flag sector 1, I think that's the Alfa Romeo again. Will not focus too much attention this time round. Maybe there'll be another safety car, I'm not 100% sure. Now with the Haas P3 of Hal, your pole sitter, closing in on Chesney with a 1.2 second gap. It seems to continue to be continuing to close up. But at the moment, Chesney seems to be trying to gain on the Mercedes, which is almost creating this barrier, this blockage of trying to catch up to one another. But what I will say is SpongeStar and the Williams getting nice and close with the AlphaTauri, and the wow, a bit of a contact there, and it seems, from what I've seen, the AlphaTauri tried going almost sandwiched between the Williams and Alpine. The Williams getting stuck on the inside, losing out more, and the Alpine making the move down the inside, and Lewis staying in P5, or at least losing at least one position down to P5. But a nice inside line there sees him moving up into P4. Does he have any track limit penalties? And yes, he does, and on medium compounds, which is very interesting for these last 25% of the race. Jono currently in P1 once again, 2.1 seconds now. That's continuing to grow out and continuing to gain, but now it's 1.9, so maybe not. Maybe Chesney's actually gaining on the Mercedes. How in P3, maybe starting to gain on the Ferrari as well. Another yellow flag. I think that's the McLaren of Smokewisp. If we go down, there you go, you can see a spin, and it's just not going very well for the McLaren overall this weekend. And unfortunately for this red flag reset, it seems to be a bit more all over the place. Aston Martin this time round are now into the points, and Williams, who were kind of in the positions that Aston Martin are now kind of in, were in Constructors points, so it's very unlucky for Williams. Lewis with the AlphaTauri fighting away with the Alpine, almost Lewis hitting the Alpine of Gabby. but it seems Gabby with the DRS is just able to pull away a lot more and Gabby up into P4, so a very solid looking thing there. But then the AlphaTauri just able to catch up to the Alpine by a mile on those corners, so it's very interesting to see how fast the AlphaTauri is, against the Alpine through corners. Nano with a 3-second time penalty, obviously down into P14, obviously also coming into the pit, so some type of front wing damage must have occurred on that Williams. Speaking of Williams, down in P12, there's the Williams of SpongeStar, who's had some type of spin or collision with the wall, down to P12, barely staying ahead of his teammate. And if his teammate continues to drive a bit more cleanly, away from the wall, away from any spins or players, or drivers I should say, my apologies, then it should be an easy overtake on his teammate. Kookaburra fighting away with the Alfa Romeo. It seems Kookaburra is actually there, while the Alfa Romeo is more than just a mere ghost in the whisper, in the distance, in the wind. Anyway, Kookaburra gets past with not too much hassle into P10. Not bad from the Red Bull. Let's move up to Ito Ida, who's honestly had a very up and down race. Started dead last because of a 5-place grid penalty, up into P9 after red flag reset, and then the Haas seems to be cruising away at the moment. 3-lap old medium compound, so not too bad. And it all seems to be much smoother this time round. Not too many incidents, not too many crashes. Everyone got away smoothly, and this red flag reset seemed to be absolutely imperative for a bit more safety and a bit more reassurance for every driver here in House of Racing. The Aston Martin in P5, now ahead of some of the drivers who have come into the pits quite early, as Ito may be considering some type of not Ito, my apologies, Kookaburra, or no, his teammate, sorry, it wasn't Ito, it was teammate Hao who came into the pits. Once again, my apologies. Now Hao, who's come to the pits, maybe considering some type of strategy call, or maybe it was just damage to the front wing. We'll have to wait and see how that plans out and see if that was his original plan to box at lap 5. Anyway, 13 laps, 5 have already been completed. This race is closing in, it's coming to an end, it's getting smaller. Speaking of, my throat is continuing to die more and more as this race continues, from a mixture of laughter and banter, but the main important thing, commentary for House of Racing. Into the next couple of turns goes the Red Bull of Kookaburra, now signed a gain on Howe in P8. This has probably been the history's longest House of Racing event, and I'm glad to be your commentator all the way through it. And also, I think it was the first time a red flag was ever held here in House of Racing, so a lot of things being broken, maybe not so much for the good, but it is how it has gone. Anyway, Gabby's getting a really good slipstream on Chesney, purple in the 3rd sector as well, down the inside goes the Alpine driver, keeps it nice and clean by the time they reach the chicane, and the Ferrari can't really do much at that point onwards, so a very nice move from Gabby. But can the Ferrari stick with the Alpine? No, he hits the barrier, and that's also probably going to get him some front wing damage. Can the AlphaTauri go around the outside? No, Lewis will pick up some penalties there, 3-second time penalty on those medium compounds. He moves up into P2, but now has the weight, the things dragging him down, pulling him, and just force him down multiple positions, and that is because of that 3-second time penalty. So very unfortunate for the AlphaTauri driver. So right now, virtually that Ferrari is in P2, but can the AlphaTauri just get away from the Ferrari and potentially keep the position of P2? Obviously, Ito Ida 11 seconds down on P3, and because P3, if I'm not wrong, has some front wing damage from what we've seen, a potential throat is dying, a potential wall hit, that P3 may disappear, and Jono or even Ito Ida might take that away. Well, just like everything this weekend, it seems more than just a red flag on the track, but also a red flag on my microphone. So now for the rest of the race, you're just gonna have to hear a vibration, but we are back. Anyway, Gabby, currently in P1. I know some of you are making jokes about it, you dickheads. Anyway, In P2, the AlphaTauri of Lewis trying to catch up to the Alpine of Gabby. 1.7 seconds currently. Seems to be gaining a couple hundreds through some of the sectors, but then through others it just seems the Alpine's just a bit quicker. Gabby seems to be better on straights, but then the AlphaTauri's better on corners. But it seems DRS will probably make it better through all of it, so it doesn't really matter anyway. Chesney, P3, also coming through the elevated hairpin to follow pursuit on the AlphaTauri. Chesney on those soft compounds is going to be interesting when they decide that they're going to box, because eventually they'll have to do one more pit stop and it will be the checkered flag to follow them after that point. Jono in P4, not too far behind Chesney. I mean, not too far behind, 9.5 seconds. I don't know what I'm on about. I guess I'm just tired. It is 4:30 in the morning or something on the lines of that. Anyway, the Ferrari of Chesney comes around the corner, keeps it nice and close to the walls. It's obviously trying to keep it nice and tight. The walls feel like it's enclosing on you. That's how every street circuit feels like when you drive around them. Around the final corner, keeps it clean. The Ferrari doesn't think about DRS because he thinks about coming into the pit. So the first man to think about strategy here is Chesney, at least for the most part. I think other people who had come into the pits were mainly down because of damage and other situations. Anyway, Jono, who seems to be on 2-lap old tyres, so maybe Jono did make a call. Either way, he's up into P3 now, up into the podium positions, and right now this is the most interesting looking podium that we have seen in House of Racing Formula 2 division for Season 2 so far. Lewis in P2, but for how long? Jono has a 10-second penalty, but how long will that be applied for if Jono can close that gap with the remaining laps remaining? 8 out of the 13 laps. We have another man into the pits. I think that's Lippy. Yes, it is, of the Alfa Romeo. And there is also OXL4 of the Aston Martin, currently in P10. His teammate in P7, getting closer to the Ferrari of Constella. Constella in P6. That gap is closing 3/10 at this current time into the elevated hairpin. What can he do? Well, he's closing up to the gearbox of the Ferrari. Can the Aston Martin make any potential moves, or is it just too late? Maybe just not at this point. We're going to have to wait and see as we continue to watch this little fight happening. Aston Martin, we know, is going to get DRS here, so maybe this is his chance. Maybe this is his point to prove. Can the Aston Martin make the move stick, or is he thinking longer term? Wait until the third sector when it really counts, when DRS chicken can start being used, and when more of a mindset and a mental game is being used. Anyway, the Ferrari is now inside of a second of the Aston Martin, so a bit of a DRS train starting to form. Let's go back up to the front where we can see Lewis, and I think that's Gabby as well to follow, coming out of the pit lane now as they start to finish off their pit stops. Howe, who is on pole position, unfortunately got it taken away after red flag reset. Now into P2. Does Jono really have to worry about it all? He's already boxed. He's done everything he needs to do, and Jono is absolutely cruising at the moment. We said that about Howe, but look what happened. He had a spin after multiple things. Howe moved down multiple positions, and eventually the red flag has seen him up into P2 again. But right now, at the moment, Jono is cruising. Jono is at a steady pace, and if he stays at that steady pace, he can stay ahead of the Haas of Howe, who is seeming to lose around a tenth through the higher speed areas of the circuit. Let's go to this fight between the Ferrari of Constella and the Aston Martin of Ozaswaza, and it seems a decent slipstream and a better exit for the Ferrari, as seeing this fight maybe continuing to turn up the heat, maybe trying to stay on that curb, not go over it, not absolutely stay inside the road, still trying to make the maximum amount of time and room from the track that is eventually available to them. Sorry if I'm making words on the spot, I am very tired. Anyway, Constella in P7 will get DRS on the Aston Martin of Ozaswaza. Chesney behind is slightly closer, but it seems to be an overall benefit for Constella, who has no DRS. So because Ozaswaza has no DRS, Constella is getting the biggest advantage with this slipstream, but we'll have dirty air with Ozaswaza's clean air compared to it, and it seems Kookaburra fighting away heavily with the AlphaTauri and Alpine of Gabby and Lewis, and it seems Kookaburra is finally going to be straightened out here, but it seems like he hit the wall before. So now let's go to the fight between P4 and P3, lap 10 of 13. There's only 3 laps remaining, including this one. AlphaTauri has to take to the runoff area, does pick up a penalty, so does Gabby maybe earlier on, I'm not 100% sure. They're going to go wheel to wheel for half a second, outside line for the AlphaTauri, inside for the Alpine. The AlphaTauri does get more grip, but is it too late for any move to be made? Well, at least they're going to follow everyone, each other through into the next area where DRS will be active. DRS now less than a meter away, now it is active, and here you can see DRS, the flap open. It's very clear to see no move can be done. Maybe it's to the AlphaTauri's benefit as he continues to bump and scrape with the walls for the fight for the podium position in P3. But will Kookaburra maybe be able to snatch it away? Maybe not, because of a penalty. Maybe it will be Constella, seeing that he is the next man who has not got a penalty but also has to close up that gap, because with an 8/10 gap to Ozaswaza, but with a 7.5 second gap to Kookaburra, it's looking like maybe Gabby will keep the podium position, which is why Lewis might be fighting so hard. Jono, on the other hand, has continued to just cruise and trying to stay at that one bit of pace. Hal has closed it down to around 3/10 here, and now it's maybe gonna get under 2 seconds very soon. There's 1.9, and it seems it is finally under. There you go. So maybe the Haas will be able to catch the Mercedes, maybe not. Maybe it's too late for the Haas to catch the Mercedes. Maybe Jono will pick up the win here, and it will be absolutely glorious for the Mercedes F1 team, who will be needing those Constructors points, and it will be very nice to finally see a new winner here in Formula 2 for this season. It has been all WizzyBoy all season long at the moment. I mean, there's only been 2 races, but it's already feeling like all season long. Anyway, Jono just absolutely cruising. 1.8, but is it too late for Hal to catch? You know what? Hal is on an absolute beamer. He's trying his absolute hardest just to push the most out of that Haas. Really trying his absolute hardest to try and make something happen. And that is a real big respect that you can have for Hal in the Haas. He obviously, the red flag has not really benefited him at all, but unfortunately that is the way of the world, and the Mercedes only has this, I think, 2 more laps, this one and then the last one. This is the penultimate lap, lap 12 of 13. Smoke Wisp is the sandwich, the bottom part, P14, last place. Obviously the other ones have been DNF'd or disqualified. That includes Lux, Azza, Kia, Black Charizard and Flying Undertaker, all people who have disqualified or DNF'd, and that sees Smoke Wisp down at the very bottom. There you see Sponge Star, P13 on the soft compounds, 8.9 seconds down compared to Slippy, who is on the who's in the Alfa Romeo. My apologies. Nano in the Williams, P11, now going into the next couple of corners, trying to catch up to the Aston Martin of OXL4. It looked good, a potential podium for the Williams of Nano, but unfortunately it all slipped away from him, and now he's trying to fight for the scraps of a single point, one singular championship point. It would be his first point, if I'm not wrong, this season, but I could be wrong. I'll have to fact check that later on after it's all been done and sorted. Let's go to Ida Ida, where we can see the Haas in P9, and it seems to be a really good comeback, who started P20, now in P9, 5.9 seconds behind Constella, but also 11.8 up on OXL4, so it's a very clean and easy run through for Ido at the moment. It will be nice points for Haas. As we can see, it is 13 out of 13 laps. Let's go to Jono here, who starts his final lap of the race. There you can see the medium compound strategy on the second stint has been the better option for the Mercedes driver. how to follow behind. He's trying his absolute hardest, pushing as hard as he can, but will it be enough? With a 1.8 second gap at other points, it seems the Mercedes is gaining more, and it just seems to be this back and forth and back and forth. But you know what, that Haas is gaining on the Mercedes, but is it too late with it being the final lap? If we continue to have a look at some of the fights that might be taking place, it just seems to be all these gaps kind of almost spread out between each other, and a bunch of blue flags as well. So let's go up to the front where we can see how 1.5 seconds off the Mercedes, nearly 1.4 seconds, only going to happen in a couple seconds, and yeah, there it is, 1.4. At least now it's back up to 1.5, but it seems no matter what that Haas does, no matter how hard he pushes, it won't be enough. After a red flag, after chaos and absolute travesty for some drivers, the Mercedes of Jono will be the man to win the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix, and big respect to the Mercedes driver. Indeed, Jono wins the Saudi Arabian Grand Prix. He wins in Formula 2 for the first time. Congratulations to the Mercedes. Wow, no way to put that except congratulations. Hal will take P2, Gabby will take the final place on the podium with P3, Kookaburra P4, Lewis P5 in the AlphaTauri, P6 will be Chesney, P7 Ozza Swazza, and P8 in Ferrari. P9 you can see Ida Oda just coming over the timing line now. Will OXL4 be able to catch him? No, I think it's a... No, it isn't a blue flag, but will it be enough? Won't be, and it will be Nano for now, which will eventually be switched for OX because of a penalty. Nano P11, Slippy will eventually see it. P12, no, P11 because of Nano's penalty, which will be applied. I don't think it will be applied anymore anyway. Sponge Start tapping the barrier. Is Smokewisp going to be able to make a move? It's going to be will to will to the line. Who's going to get DRS? I think it's the McLaren. Either way, it doesn't matter. I think it's Smokewisp who gets the move done, and I think it won't matter. I think Smokewisp is P15, or no, P13, so no, that is going to count. I think the penalties were just big enough for it not to count for either driver, but either way, Jono is your winner. That has got to be the craziest race. There you see the Mercedes driver obviously walking out. He's up on the podium taking that P1 spot. Jono lifts the trophy, at least for now. We're going to have to see what the FIA says, but for now he can celebrate. Enjoy. Champagne bubbly to celebrate on the field. Lewis says, if I don't win a race this season, I'm retiring myself from the F1 game. And by the way, boys, I had the Twitch chat open the entire time. I knew if I just said it like I didn't, then I knew it would die down, it would be fine. Anyway, whew, no words to describe that. Jenga Boy, Joshua, I know you want your timings, so here you go. Get them all in. Okay, alright, WizzyBoy. Okay, WizzyBoy. What? Okay. Alright. You know what, WizzyBoy, can I just reveal something? WizzyBoy, can I reveal something? I had the option, like a little mod, little like robot thing, told me if I wanted this to come through to the Twitch chat, and I could have easily said deny. So I actually saw it before everyone else did, but you know what, I still let it through. Oh, my throat is so dead. Put shit away. It's not my fault, man. The controller needed to put charging on. Stupid. Anyway. Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. I have no words. I just want to say this now, just before stream ends. I have no words to describe that race. I have no way to explain what has happened, or who I became once the red flag came out. But what is done is done. WizzyBoy is banned from House of Racing. I'm kidding. And I will see you all next time. Adios. Peace. Goodbye. Love you all platonically. Don't get any ideas. And I will see you all next Friday. Bye-bye.